I'm Ryan Berry with the committee to elect Sheriff Mark Whittaker as sheriff for Darke County. I didn't say that all right, but it's close. But we know that you are running for sheriff of Darke County. You're currently serving in that position, and a lot of people may not know what you stand for, what issues are facing Darke County at this present time, but we've had a few meetings. I've interviewed you over the years, and there are some pretty big issues that face Darke County. And over the next series of videos, we're going to hit on some of those. And one of the big ones right now, it's on everybody's mind, are drugs in Darke County.
Yes.
And it's not just one of these things where you go out, investigate, lock them up, throw away the key kind of a thing. There's more to what your department and what you are doing in the area of drugs and getting them off the street and helping those that are facing those issues. Let's start with the investigative side of the drug issue. What does your department do? What's your role in that?
Okay, so investigatively, on the investigative front, I should say, what we will do is we have detectives that specialize in drug investigations. They've received training, they've received certifications from others that have a lot of experience in that. Even had one of the drug detectives, we'll call them, or counter drug detectives we like to say, had the opportunity to go to a larger city and spend time with other drug detectives in larger cities and see how they do things. Now we're a rural community, so we have to take what we learn over there and apply it to the rural community. So making sure that the detectives are trained and have opportunities in education, learning what the latest techniques and ways to do proper drug investigations. The other thing that we do on the investigative front is make sure that we're working with our other county law enforcement agencies and even out-of-county law enforcement agencies. We want to share intelligence and information about what's happening here, because a lot of times drug trafficking happens across borders. They take advantage of that, whether it's across from Indiana or whether it comes from Dayton or Cincinnati. So it's important that we foster those relationships and those connections. The other thing that the Darke County Sheriff's Office does is make sure that the deputies on the road patrol have the training available to them. So we've sent them to what we call drug interdiction school that specializes in teaching deputies how to really catch drug traffickers that might be transporting drugs on the highways and the roadways of Darke County. And that is a specialized area, so we want to make sure we've sent 3 or 4 deputies to that type of training. The other way that I want to handle that situation or improve our investigative skills is also to provide to the county and to the deputies canine drug detection. They're very good tools. We have 2 canine detectives, or rather 2 canine deputies that have the ability and are certified nationally and through the state to do drug detection, and that is a great tool, especially when we do drug interdiction on the highways and the roadways.
How much of what you do drugs play a part of, whether it be crime, whatever sort of crime, whether it's breaking and enterings or as it escalates from there? How big of an issue is drugs into each of those?
So unfortunately, it would seem that substance use has permeated almost every aspect of crime and the different crimes that we see in Darke County. So for example, our jail holds 36 people, and I regularly pull the jail roster, sit down with the jail administrator and the jail medical staff, and I would ask them, on this list of 32 or 36 people, how many of them have substance use disorder or drug addiction? And the answer that I almost always get from them is almost all of them have this issue in their life. Occasionally we will have some that do not, but that is not very often. I've often said for many years that if we could have an impact on the drugs that enter our society, that enter our county, if we had some sort of impact to stop the use, stop the trafficking, I feel like if we could somehow do that, we would impact our criminal conduct as well as the crime in our community. I figured if I can tackle that, if I can get a handle on that, we can probably eliminate over half the people that come to jail. I just feel that that's a possibility.
And you're really looking into doing that more than just putting them in jail. You've got other ways. You've been a part of the Coalition for a Healthy Darke County for probably since it started many years ago now.
Yes.
And there's some things that are happening there now that affect the way you work, including the Healing Communities grant and some other things. What does that mean for your department? How do you address it? The way that a lot of people don't see what you're doing, but you're really making a difference.
We learned a long time ago, especially with opioid substance use, and you've heard other sheriffs and other law enforcement executives say this time and time again. It's a cliche almost to this point. We can't arrest ourselves out of this, and that couldn't be further from the truth in terms of we don't have enough jail space. We can't just throw everybody who is addicted to drugs in jail. That's not the answer. We have to recognize the science behind addiction, and we also have to look at not only just solving the criminal aspect of it and the criminal behavior that comes along with it, but we also have to look at what can we do. Now, once they're in jail, I think we have to offer people the opportunity to make choices if they're ready to make those choices. And a good place to do that when they're in jail is they're now a captive audience, and they go through the withdrawal process while they're in jail. They become a little bit more clear-minded, a little bit more understanding of the circumstances, and that's a perfect time to introduce them to options. That does not mean that they will always accept those options, because they don't sometimes, but sometimes they do. But we have to start introducing them into the idea that, are you ready to change your behavior? Are you ready to go a different route? And there have been proven medication-assisted treatment programs out there that have had benefits. It's been scientifically proven. It doesn't happen overnight. It oftentimes doesn't happen with the very first time they come to jail. But if the second time or third time we can get somebody that's willing to go along with the program, we have had successes. There are documented successes. The way we do that is we offer them the opportunity to, there's a variety of medications now that exist. When we first started this, it was a Vivitrol. Vivitrol was a drug where a person could receive an injection that lasted 28 days. And what it did is it curbed the desire or the cravings for an opiate or opioid drug. It also would block the effects of an opiate or an opioid drug if someone were to try to take it. And in doing so, the idea is that gets them hopefully started towards recovery. But one thing that we understood in Darke County from the beginning was you can't just give someone a shot and all of a sudden they're not addicted anymore. It doesn't work that way. Oftentimes, mental health issues are hiding behind the addiction, and we need to look at that and we need to address that. So we've brought together mental health professionals, family health services, wellness and recovery has mental health professionals, and they work together, and we give them access to the folks that come into the jail so that we can start this process. They have access to mental health services, access, if possible, and they're qualified in terms of willingness, in terms of medically able to take this medication-assisted treatment. These opportunities exist for them. We also have a community health worker that does social work or casework with folks that are in jail, so that when they're going to be released from jail, do they have a home to go to? Do they have options available? We present resources to them. This is something that we hadn't done in the past, but we've been doing more so over the last few years. And I will tell you, the vast majority, if not almost all of that, is now provided through a Healing Communities grant that was given to the Coalition of a Healthy Darke County, and the Coalition for the Healthy Darke County oversees or manages that grant.
And that was a substantial grant in order to get a lot of this done, correct?
Yes, just short of $1 million. What held the sheriff's office up from providing these services previously was the fact that Sheriff Spencer, my predecessor, and myself as the chief deputy, we were not willing to spend general fund local taxpayer dollars to support these types of programs. It wasn't, in our opinion, given the limited funds we have, it wasn't an appropriate use of local taxpayer money to do it. It's not that we didn't want to provide assistance. We would if we could. We also would try to connect, but to spend money on medications or those types of drugs just wasn't in our funding. Then when grants started coming out and things like that, and the Healing Community Study came out, it provided Darke County with just under $1 million. It was over $900,000 in grant money a couple of years ago. And that opened the door for us to be able to do this.
And you've had the support of local organizations like Family Health in doing this. And I know Jean Young was a big supporter of doing that back when she had Family Health.
Absolutely. So several years ago, an opportunity existed for us to renew or to get a contract for a medical practitioner, a jail doctor, if you will, that we're required by law to have. Every jail has to have one. And the jail doctor we had at the time, he had moved on to another position, and we entered into a contract with Family Health Services, Darke County Family Health Services, and they provided us with a jail physician. But what we also received with Family Health Services was the support and desire as they started to see the drug addiction issues that we were having in our community, and they wanted to team up and partner with us, and we wanted to partner with them because Family Health has a couple of physicians that are certified in substance use disorder, and that's a specialty now. And they were able to help advise us on the best way to handle this, along with the grant money that we were able to receive.
So really, the public a lot of times just sees the surface of things.
Yes.
They don't see what's going on behind the scenes. And you said you've had some success stories over the course of the past few years. As you continue on and as you get more comfortable in this grant, do you see more successes coming through? Have you heard from some of these people that they're grateful to what was offered?
Well, the ones that have been successful, yes. Understand that folks that are in this situation are fighting what I will call a stigma. Understandably so, I get that. But they're fairly private, of course. That's not something that they want to advertise, and I am totally understand that. But there's a handful of folks from the community that have turned a corner, and I believe that they're very appreciative of the opportunities that have been presented to them, and they've been able to change their life and move towards a positive goal and be productive citizens in our community. It doesn't get a lot of front page news because it's a private matter for some folks, and
Sure.
I think we understand. But I will tell you, they do exist.
That is outstanding. So that's one of the things that's going on. It's still not perfect, but we have somebody in place right now that is working towards that goal, that sees the issues behind just arresting and putting in jail, and sees the actual person. So I encourage you, when you go to your ballot, whether it's by absentee or whether it's actually at a polling place, Sheriff Whittaker, keep him in mind and mark him down when you go to vote. He's done a great job for the county for many years, and I believe that he will be the person to continue doing that job as we move forward. Until next time, for Sheriff Whittaker and myself, thank you very much for watching.